And so, Sorrow, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. Let me see.
Hey.
Hey. Everyone else from the team as well. How you doing?
Good. It's great to be here.
Thank you for stopping
We've
by.
been kind of watching and observing, and it's nice to be here with you live.
That's what aliens do.
Thanks, guys, for having us here.
Morty, thank you very much for coming through. If you can tell us a little bit about, well, yourselves first, and then the game, that'd be good. That'd be great. Like kind of what your position is on the team or company, and kind of what attracted you into the NFT space. That would be a good way to get to know you guys a little bit.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So my name's Sarah. I guess I'm one of the co-founders of the project, and I started working with. So we've been working together as a team for a few years now. We started within EOS DAC, which is a DAC block producer on EOS, and was also a very big airdrop in 2018. And since then, we've really been passionate about DACs, or it's kind of the EOS way of describing it, but DAOs is sort of now what we call them. We've been building those and building software to build those for a couple of years, and so now our vision is DAOs in space, and there's a little bit of a kind of rationale as to why we made that move from being terrestrial DAO builders to being space DAO builders. But that's the vision behind Alien Worlds. And apart from that, kind of like why I got into crypto, I actually formerly was in corporate finance. I was in M&A in a kind of previous lifetime, and I was just really attracted towards crypto to help to build decentralized systems that were a lot more empowering of more people. So in our own small way, I think that's what we're trying to do, and that's kind of a short version of how we ended up here. Michael, do you wanna?
Cool.
Yep. Hello. So I'm Michael. I'm another one of the co-founders. I've been involved with crypto for quite a while. I first got involved and sort of interested with the unstoppable computer angle, which Ethereum was pushing for some time. I really like the idea that we can write these contracts which don't need to be maintained. They just live on the blockchain and they're kind of immutable and they're verifiable and nobody can trick you, nobody can steal your money, which I've seen a lot of in my industry, companies handing out personal fines and just removing access to people's property. So since about 2017 I've been involved. I was involved quite a lot with the EOS launch, and then building DAOs and DACs for the last 3 years. So I'm the technical guy. I've been doing most of the smart contracts for the project and for the DAO software previously as well. So I'll do most of the technical design and the building of the contracts as well.
Okay, awesome. So if anyone has any hard questions, you know who to ask.
Any deep technical stuff, bring it here.
Awesome. Michael is actually like ridiculously good at this stuff. So I've been a techie most of my life, but honestly, I cede most of the stuff to Michael as he knows his stuff.
Cool. All right, so we have a group of we have a nice team interested in decentralization, been around for a minute, and are now building this project with that in mind. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yep.
Cool.
Just to
I mean, I'd just like to add on it. Sorry, I'm one of the other people who set this up. I think the other thing as well is that the whole NFT space, for me in particular, and probably everyone else, is just so exciting because it gets really to the heart of this idea of how you take items to a virtual space and how that actually works and how you can prove the ownership and authenticity of things. It's I think it's just something that's going to be so fundamental for all the future type technologies we have, that I see NFTs as just being such a foundation stone, and we just really want to do something in that space now because it's just too exciting.
Cool. We're excited to see what you guys are building. I see you started sharing your screen. If everyone that wants to see some cool visuals, you can click on Morty right up top and click watch stream, and let's see what they've been working on and what this land sale and there's been an airdrop too that we can get into, so you guys can check out your address and see if you have a pack. Yeah, go ahead, Morty, take it away, or whoever wants to explain what we're looking at here on the screen. That'd be great.
Want to do a little overview to start off with of kind of where we're at in the land sale today?
Cool. There's also the stream text channel is right above the voice channel. If you keep an eye on that, you'll see, everyone that's excited about the game. We'll see some questions and all that, just so
Okay,
you
cool.
guys are aware. Yeah. So overview.
I can take it away.
great.
Yeah, are you guys still able to see my screen?
Yeah,
Yes, perfectly.
All
you
right.
can see it. Okay, cool. So we've basically been doing a series of NFT sales this autumn. We started off with a standard pack sale and then a rare pack sale, and now culminating in selling our land base now. So we went live with our Dutch auction earlier today. I think we're now in period 5. So the prices are going down every hour. Really happy to see a lot of people diving in now to secure their land packs, and we'll be going for 36 hours or at the point at which we sell out, whichever comes first. We expect to sell out within the first kind of few periods as opposed to going all the way to the end. So why have we been selling these NFTs? We basically, our project, our game, is kind of built on 2 cryptocurrency pillars. So there's our fungible token, which is an ERC20 token also on Wax called Trillium. And that is used as a metaversal currency within the game in order to track power. And it's also a very powerful, it tracks governance within each of our planetary DAOs. So we have this extensible DAO structure where we have 6 planets, and each of them is a DAO with its own fungible token, which you get by staking Trillium to that planet. And I'm sure we'll go on more to kind of explain how that all works. So the 2 cryptocurrency pillars are fungible token Trillium, and then our non-fungible tokens, which have utility within our game. So we have 6 types of fungible token: land, avatars, minions, weapons, tools, and artifacts. And they each are used in different types of games. We're currently releasing what we call the mining game. And then subsequently we'll be releasing the fighting game, and then thereafter we hope to bring on stream a couple of other games that use, for example, the artifact NFT. But starting off with the mining game, the NFTs that will be used are land and tools, and then in the fighting game we'll be using a couple of the other NFTs. So we basically have these 6 NFTs. They have various rarity levels, and I'll let Rob go more deeply into how these are all kind of categorized and how they build up to have different attributes that'll have power within the game. But basically, the long story short of it is that within the mining game, which is the first game that we'll be releasing, land and tools kind of find their expression. Within mining, what happens is that when a person mines with their land and tools, they receive both Trillium, the fungible token, and NFTs as a reward. And so the idea is that as a user kind of starts to mine, makes Trillium, they then can stake that Trillium to one of the 6 planets, and that gives them stake-weighted voting within that planet's DAO. Our token supply, our fungible token supply, is 5 billion tokens, and then another 5 billion in a locked box that's getting released at a very slow rate per day through the planetary structure primarily, and also a little bit going to landowners. And so that locked box mechanism, which is a little bit like inflation, is designed to incentivize activity within the game, to incentivize people doing things like mining and fighting and all of the other gameplay activities. So that 5 billion that gets released very, very slowly, to give you a sense of it, in the first year, about 440 million Trillium will get released through that mechanism down through the planets and also to landowners. That goes out to the people mining. They then can receive it, stake it back to planets, to their chosen planet where they impact governance. And through that staking mechanism, by receiving that fungible DAO token, they can express whatever they want their particular planet to do in terms both of the Trillium rewards that planet is receiving. So an individual person can impact the governance of a planet and impact its planet's Trillium policies with respect to what it's doing with its Trillium payouts. But a person can also impact their planetary DAO's policies about other things, like games to offer into the metaverse, or even other NFTs to offer into the metaverse. So we think of what we're offering as the kind of core smart contracts, a reference UI, and a way of the central game authority, which we're calling the Federation, which is us, a way for us to interact with the planet's landowners and other kind of key stakeholders within the metaverse. But I mean, the reason why we call it a metaverse is not just because that's a sort of thing that, a fashionable thing that you hear around a lot. It's also because we really see what we're building as a platform that creates certain interoperable components and also just certain incentive mechanisms that will allow the community to take this project forward in the various ways that it wants to. So I think that's like an overview of the different components, the fungible token, the NFTs, land as one of the NFTs, the role of the incentive system. It's a lot of information. I'm sure we'll get into it more, but that's kind of a helicopter view of what we've built and what we're building.
Awesome. That is a lot of information, but I'm sure that when we see it visually or in a different format, just that's not spoken word, it'll click for most of us.
Exactly. So that's where we're at. That's sort of the land sale today. I don't know whether one of you guys want to talk a little bit about the Dutch auction and kind of how that's what we're actually doing kind of today.
Yeah, today's a big day.
Yeah, I can probably talk about that. Right. So what we've got is a Dutch auction which starts at particular levels. We're selling at 50% of the packs on for Ethereum, ETH, and we're selling 50% of the packs for Wax, because this is a kind of Ethereum cross-chain Wax platform. So it's half and half there. And then what happens is that it starts at a particular price, and then every hour it goes down, and packs get sent out from that particular period. So each period as we go by, we'll have a new price, and then people will buy in at that price, and then every hour it will go down, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So obviously what tends to happen is that it goes quite slowly, and then it picks up pace really quickly. We've done a few of these already, and when people start coming in, we do find that they start moving quite quickly.
Good old human nature.
Yep.
Rears its head in these Dutch auctions.
Yep. We've seen the example before, and they seem to do quite well for things like price discovery and all that.
Yeah.
We have some questions rolling in, but we'll save them for a little bit until you guys kind of give us that good old overview, or what's going on today, or if you want to get into the airdrop, which I was very fortunate and lucky to have my name on the list. I can post this as well. But that was a nice surprise that, just for being an Ethereum NFT user, that I got a free pack.
We basically identified other communities that we feel, that we really admire and that we look to as having already been trailblazers in the space. So Sandbox, Axie, Decentraland, Rary, Gods Unchained. And we just wanted to like pay tribute to those projects and also to entice people over. So we have a list of addresses, Ethereum addresses that have been allocated an airdrop, and those are on our website. You can go to unbox.alienworlds.io to the claim airdrop section. There it is. Yeah. And you can check if you're on the list or just kind of log in, and that's the airdrop. Yeah, I mean, I think we wanted to tie in with everybody that's already in this space. We have been like very prominent working within DAX, but this is our first foray into NFTs. So, you know, we really want to learn from other people and also engage with preceding projects and everybody else who's around. So that's the airdrop.
Dope. Usually it's the other way around. People start doing NFTs and then get into DAOs. So this is going to be a cool, change of pace for the space and for everyone.
Yeah, it's interesting because Michael, I mean, when you started working with NFTs, you found it you found them really gratifying to work with in addition to everything that you'd already been doing. Michael?
Yeah, I found it really good to work with them. I find that, you know, we've been working with fungible tokens for a while, but they're very single dimensional, whereas with the NFTs, I found that there was a lot more to work with. And we have some pretty good libraries on Wax for working with NFTs, so they were very nice to work with. And so, yeah, it was pretty straightforward for me to pick up everything with the NFTs, apart from the art side of things, which I don't do. I just do the technical integration. But yeah, I found it very nice. And to me, you know, adding the game aspect to the DAO aspect is pretty natural, because what is a DAO? It's just a way to make decisions on how to spend money. So all we had to do is just add a way to give people money, and then we kind of have our raison d'etre, which is having some money, or having some Trillium rather. So yeah, it all kind of fits together very nicely for me to have this gaming aspect on top, which allows you to earn Trillium, and then the DAO aspect, which allows you to decide how to spend that Trillium.
Cool.
Rob, do you maybe want to go through the NFTs and kind of the different rarities and how they kind of fit together as a series?
Yeah, certainly. So, right, so the base on, or the important one we want to go across today is around the land. And what we have is we have 6 planets, and there's maps of all the 6 planets, and we've got land on all of these planets. We've got 3,343 different plots of land, and it all ties in through 20 different terrain types. And that all has like special characteristics about how it ties back into the mining. But going forward, one of the great things around NFTs, especially the way we're introducing them, is that you're able to build upon. So the land now is an NFT, but it also will have extensions on it, so it can be terraformed, and it can be and there will be other things like shop fronts and etc. that will be associated with it. So that also ties right into this whole mining mechanic, very familiar to most people in crypto, and that's all gamified, which is quite interesting, along with the tools which then interact with the land to give you what you to allow you to build up a strategy for how you want to mine, and how you can also potentially mine NFTs on it as well. So it's mining Trillium and NFTs. So that's the land and the tools interact together. But what we also saw is, and this is kind of why I prefer the term metaverse rather than game, because we're looking at many different angles. So we have the minions and weapons who are primarily based around battling or doing quests within worlds. So we're going to be having a release of game elements which tie in and allow these minions and to use weapons and battle each other on these worlds. And then what we also have is we have avatars, which is effectively your presence within the world. So there's different types there, and currently they are quite static. We have plans for how we want to go forward with them. And then we have artifacts, which aren't shown on here yet because they're going to be introduced over time, and they're going to affect the whole meta and the whole way that things tend to work within the metaverse. So they start to shake things up, rather like giving certain people or give a certain element an advantage, or reducing the charge time on stuff, or having other artifacts which give people some advantage or some detriment as they go along. There are 6 different levels of rarity. So there's abundance, and these are basically like everywhere. They're the things that you most often mine. They're the most common stuff. And then we've got common, rare, then it goes up to epic, legendary, and mythical. And obviously the legendary and mythical stuff is extremely rare. There's very few out there.
Yeah,
and then
those percentages, I was like, oh man, 0.2% for a mythical.
they are really, really. And then we've got shining. So I think like some people might be familiar with this whole thing that you combine different NFTs together, or you combine the same ones that you have there together. So if you've got, for instance, here 4 Nordic warriors, then you can turn it into a gold Nordic warrior. And so we've actually got 4 different levels of shining. We go from combine 4 together and you make a gold one, combine 4 of those together, you create a stardust one, which has a really lovely shimmery stardusty effect. And then if you combine 4 of those stardust together, then you get an antimatter. And that's kind of like, it's got a really nice animation around all the antimatters. So it's quite involved. And whereas a lot of this type of mechanism often is just cosmetic and increasing rarity, our shining does actually enhance some of the tools on some objects as well. So you can improve your mining a little bit, you can improve your fighting a little bit by shining. So we think that a few people will really want to try and get that advantage. I mean, could be accused of a little bit of placement, but it's about getting the balance right. And we want to try and make sure that the experience is fun, and trying to build up these more impressive versions and shiny versions is a good adventure for people.
Okay, I see Ted over here. He changes his beard look depending on how rare he is.
Yeah, so things like that. They go, yeah.
Keanu Reeves look alike.
Yep, I see.
It wasn't intentional.
I'm sure. Keanu Reeves looks like Ted.
Yeah, exactly. It's really funny because when we were trying to create these different images, it's actually hard to make like human faces that don't eventually remind you of someone out of a movie. So we kept having iterations that looked too much like Brad Pitt or whatever, and we had to keep changing their faces.
I see a little Brad Pitt there too. Okay. Someone's a movie fan.
Eventually, you can't create anything that new, it seems. Yeah, one of the things that it's kind of worth just mentioning briefly is that the tools and the land, especially with respect to the mining game, because that's the first game that we're bringing on stream, and it's also what you can use land for, which is what we're selling today. The tools and the land have various attributes that change the payout that you get when you mine. So just to give you like a sense of the parameters without kind of geeking out too much on all of the variables, but so different tools and different pieces of land require you to have more of an interval between mines, for example, so where they prevent you from mining repeatedly, but you have to wait a little while. And then some of them have shorter times with respect to that. Some of them give you more Trillium, some of them give you more NFTs. Some of them change another modifier that has to do with proof of work, which at some point Michael could talk about. So basically, it's not, whilst there are some pieces of land that are probably objectively just better in the sense that most people would prefer to own them, it's also the case that land and tools might be better for your particular strategy. So if you're somebody that wants to mine repeatedly to call the mining action regularly, but you don't really mind getting a smaller payout each time, then certain types of land or tools would be okay for you. But if you're someone who really just wants to mine once a day, then you'd be looking for different NFTs. So there's different strategies that are kind of that fit more naturally with different ones.
Yeah, if you just want to casually mine, you just find an active volcano, put a large explosive on it, and go away for a few hours. It's cool as that.
That was one of the questions. Now that we're on that topic, that the Cryptolorian asked was, can we hear a very basic overview of how one would mine? Is it more of a button click or a click on a spot and deploy? And then there's a second part to that. But so basically, you go to the volcano, you throw an explosive on it, or
I'll take you through it. Shall I take you through it?
yes,
and maybe
if you
also
can.
have Promote show the UI itself.
Maybe go from there.
Yeah, I have that up on my screen. Do you guys see that?
Yeah, maybe just
Yeah,
maximize
do you
it.
want to run that from the start, and then I'll give narration. So here's just the logo coming up. Right, so here's some test accounts which are there, and then it takes you in, and then could we do it from the choosing lands section? That too. Quick. So here, if we just go back, can we just go forward to where we get to the land? Yeah. So there we go. Right. So when you first go in, you'll select a default avatar, which will give you, and then you get to choose a planet that you want to go mine on. So you choose between the planets, then you can choose the particular piece of land that you want to go to. So there you go. Let's just carry on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So then, okay, we're going to Cavian here. We're going to go to the rocky crater. You can select the land, or it will just give it to you. So there's some bits where you can go into depth or other things. So here we've got a rocky crater. We're going to mine on. We're going to select a tool or two that we've got. So what are we selecting there? We're going to select these tools.
Better mining.
Yeah, so we're going to select these great tools here, and then we're going to get on there, and then basically from there, once you've selected everything, it's a button click once you go. Cool. And then and then basically from there you can go ahead, you can stake whatever you've got as well. Now it might be that you might have a little strategy there to check out what other people are doing as well, because there's pots which you're going from, and you may want to check out that someone else hasn't taken the pot that's already there. But in general, it's very simple, but in order to optimize it will certainly take a fair bit of research, and things may change around a bit, but that make it quite gamified.
Okay, so you definitely have to pay attention to what other players are doing, see if it's worth mining that planet or volcano.
Absolutely, there's a lot of dynamics there, because how much is staked to each planet determines largely how much revenue that planet has and how much revenue that planet has for mine on. So a lot of people will prefer to go to the planets which are most successful or have the most revenue, but then that could also mean that other planets could well be a good value bet to go on to, because although they may not have a huge amount of Trillium, they may not have many other people trying to mine for it. So it's one of these things where it's going to take a lot of people to time to work out what the best strategy is going to be for themselves.
Gotcha.
Or just go ahead and use a shovel and just get on in there and not really care too much about a strategy and just see what they get.
That's my strategy.
It's kind of worth mentioning. So we're getting here now into the fact that because we have the NFTs and then we have Trillium, and because Trillium gets disseminated down to miners, so through these mining actions that we've just been seeing in the interface, Trillium flows down to miners primarily through the planets. There's also a little bit that goes directly, but 80% of it as a default goes through the planets, and everything that flows through the planets is subject eventually to the planets' kind of political decisions in a sense. So that's why we see there being kind of some interesting dynamics around Trillium and where it gets staked and how the planet DAOs decide to allocate their resources over time versus like individual users and where they're deciding to mine and what kind of NFTs they're choosing to use and so on. There's kind of two, in a sense, there's like two big dynamics in the game that are happening. There's the mining and the land, and then there's the planets, but they interrelate, and they interrelate essentially through Trillium, and that's why the tokenomics work.
Okay, so there's definitely a lot of strategy involved and a lot of things or some things to kind of keep track of. Like, who would you say this game is primarily for? Like, a player of what other game would have a good time here? Not just like the DAO, people interested in DAO and DeFi stuff.
I think it's anyone who likes to look at some things which are a bit more strategy orientated, and likes getting free stuff, and keeps on and tying into some kind of mining thing. I think there's a lot of thinking about it. There's a lot of sort of more of this trying to optimize a strategy or solve puzzles or that type of thing. So I think that certainly when we start tying into the other elements as well, there's going to be an awful lot more puzzle strategy and trying to work out the best type of approach for the different battling and different doing quests and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think it applies to megalomaniacs quite a lot as well. We see a lot of people whose initial response to the game is, "Oh, I want to run a planet. I want to be in charge of the planet. I want to be the boss of the planet." So I see that as a different kind of level game. You know, there's the mining game and the fighting game and everything, which is kind of one level. But then once you start getting into the planetary governance, I see that as a kind of a different type of person who would be interested in that. And that would be, megalomaniacs and people who are sort of running large communities already. They like to get involved in that kind of planetary stuff. So,
Cool.
Yeah, I also
levels.
feel, I sort of feel like Alien Worlds could really appeal to people who are into 4X games, who are more into point and click based games, like for example Hearts of Iron or Civilization types of games, where you also have to where you also get to do a bit in the governance side of stuff. So yeah, so that's the kind of people I think outside the blockchain space would be interested in a game like this.
That's funny that you say that because that's exactly kind of what I pictured as someone that it's into forex and is tweaking bots and strategies and
Yeah.
trying to optimize for the best
Yeah,
game. So
I think the important thing is probably we can't really say it's 4x because it doesn't really include the extermination option.
right,
So, so certainly not yet. So it's probably more like 4x without the extermination.
excellent. Okay. If you want to dive into something else, I'll start collecting some questions so I can fire them off to you.
Yeah, cool. I think maybe one thing that would be worth us going through is our land roadmap, how land is going to be developing from here, because the game is really, as you can tell, very much in its infancy. We've done these 3 NFT sales this autumn, and then today we're doing the land sale, and then soon after that we'll be releasing the beta UI, which will allow the basic mining and staking functions. But all of that really points to a metaverse and an ecosystem that's pretty early stage. So we do have the future trajectory of land visioned out, and that already built into the essential components of the metaverse in terms of its tokenomics. So I don't know, Pramod, have you got the land roadmap up there? Yeah, you do. Cool. So basically, we're kind of in a phase one period now. So just to let you know, there's 3,343 pieces of land in total, and we're selling 3,000 of them. The rest are going to team and to some other uses. But 3,000 pieces of land are being sold, which, I mean, if you compare that to some other metaverses and platforms where they have land like Decentraland and Sandbox, it's quite a limited supply. We did that that was very intentional. It was so that we wouldn't sort of flood the ecosystem, which is still pretty small, with too much supply. We want people to actually be using this and mining on it and stuff. So selling 3,000 pieces for now. Currently, all land has the same rating, but in the future, you'll be able to invest in land through Trillium by buying upgrades and doing things to the land, and that would have the effect of terraforming the land. So basically, I think we have a phone going on. So basically, terraforming is where you add to the amount of the daily Trillium allocation towards landowners that you're entitled to get. So you get a little bit more direct Trillium from the Federation every day when you terraform. And as part of that, landowners will start to get more, at that phase, landowners will start to get more political protections. So we mentioned that there's this interplay between the planet DAOs and the types of policies that they can put in place that impact landowners. And so commensurately with the planet DAOs being able to turn down, for example, the Trillium flows that go to miners and therefore to landowners, commensurate with that, and at a similar time to that, landowners will also get veto powers in the politics on their planet. So they'll get like negative voting powers. Subsequent to that, landowners will be able to use what we're calling a window into the metaverse. So all landowners will have a window into the metaverse, and they can showcase whatever they want there within reason, which might be goods, services. It might be something that they're doing outside of the metaverse, but it's their showcase into the metaverse. And it's also the prerequisite for offering certain things, certain goods. So for example, certain NFTs, if landowners want to offer them, they will only be able to be offered by landowners. And also services. So that would be the final phase. Services will be, on-chain actions that only landowners will be able to offer that plug into the other games. So something like a hospital or a forgery would be an example of a service that a landowner could provide. They could build a hospital. And what that would mean is that if a minion NFT had been damaged or, had been hurt through the fighting game, then somebody could come to that landowner's hospital, pay Trillium, and have their minion brought back to full power. So that's an example of a type of service that you would have to be a landowner in order to be able to offer for Trillium. Some of these things on the roadmap cost the landowner Trillium, some of them don't. When we have a Trillium fee, we'll be burning some of that in general. So although we have this mechanism of putting Trillium into the system every day, we have a burn target or a deflationary target of 50 to 60% of that being burned as a target over the course of the year. And that's just to kind of allow enough Trillium to go out into the system to still incentivize people doing the things that they want, but also then to suck some of that back out so that over time we're not inflating the system too much. So that's the land roadmap. I think it kind of speaks to the fact that this is the land that's being sold. We don't have plans to sell more land. It's pretty scarce, and it's going to be a prerequisite to being able to do and execute certain other strategies within the metaverse. I think one thing that it's worth saying, and this might be obvious to this audience, but I still always think it's pretty cool. All of this functionality is running on chain pretty much. And that's made possible by the fact that we have the layer 1 Ethereum, but also the layer 2 Wax. And that allows us just to kind of do a lot of actions, to put a lot of actions directly on them.
Interesting. That is a hefty roadmap. It's more like a highway map. I can't wait.
It's a star. Yeah. The rest of our project roadmap actually on the website is called our Star Route. That's where we talk about like the overall project, but our land roadmap is what we decided to call it.
I mean, because where we're going, we don't need roads, but obviously on land you have roads, so that's all right.
Yes, true. I do have a couple of questions here. I think I'd start with this one. Is there any way that this game is going to be free to start,
It
or
is
is it
totally free to start.
100% free to start.
Yeah, so
excellent?
that was actually a really important thing that we wanted it to be, was totally free to start, and also really, really quick to start. So if you're somebody that doesn't have any crypto at all right now, in fact, my boyfriend recently bought his first few wax tokens to participate in this sale, which I thought was very sweet.
Cool.
If you're someone that has no crypto at all, you can just go on to our, the game portal. You do need a Wax Cloud wallet, but then we'll give you an avatar and the minimum tools that you need just to start
A shovel.
mining. And so within a couple of
We'll
minutes,
give you a shovel.
so within a couple of minutes, you can start earning Trillium, and that's the case for anybody on Earth. So we feel like having that really low barrier to entry is part of helping this thing scale.
I reckon in terms of things, it's probably about as low a barrier to entry as you can possibly get on crypto. It's the Wax Cloud wallet is insanely easy to sign up for, and there is no requirement to have extra resources on it or anything. So you can just hop straight in and start pressing some buttons, and you may get very lucky, or you may have to press a lot of buttons. So,
Cool. Yeah, the Wax Cloud wallet is something that I started when GPK came out, and I still use today. It's very easy. You can sign in with multiple services, Discord being one of them. So it's very, very easy to get a Wax address.
Yeah, I think that was something the Wax guys put quite a bit of thought into. So we're just piggybacking on that, and it seems to be working really well.
Cool. Another question is, if you buy multiple packs at the same time, will they be neighbors?
no, no, they will not. All the land's been pre-minted, so what you get in each pack is going to be completely random. So each piece of land that's been put up there is taken from the pool of 3,343 lands, and you're just randomly given one of them. So it's all. So you may want to open a few to see if you can find one you really like, and maybe people can start swapping around between themselves when they have stuff this together.
I think it's a really good question. I see that the kind of like corollary question is, would there be any advantage to land being neighbors? So far in our metaverse, we don't have that concept of contiguous pieces of land kind of having any type of identity in themselves. So there's no benefit really to being a neighbor. I suppose having two pieces of land on the same planet means that your interests might be more aligned towards that planet DAO. So there's a little bit of a political angle there, and you could also, when the veto comes in, you could be using both of your votes with respect to that veto at the same time. So there might be like a sort of oblique political benefit, or at least a consideration around having more land on one planet. But in terms of being neighbors, there's nothing to do with terraforming that's to do with neighbors. And I guess that also speaks to maybe another decision that we made as part of the game, which is that I would say that we're not that space oriented. Not by space, I don't mean outer space. I mean like we're not intending to build out an environment ever, like Decentraland, for example, has. So the concept of kind of walking around an environment, or having things beside each other, or having prime real estate on the central high street or whatever, that's not really a concept that we're building out so much. We have attributes associated with the land NFTs, and so the different planets do have they have more land that has certain types of attributes, but we're never planning on building out like a 3D environment or a virtual reality environment in that sense.
Yeah, I think the one thing there is that while we're not doing that, we're certainly open to someone else coming and doing that if they so wish. But that isn't the focus of what we're going to be focusing on.
Okay, that's a little bit different from what others are doing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite it takes a lot of effort to build out a whole like 3D environment, for example. And we think other people are doing that really well, but that's just not quite where we're focusing. But as Rob mentioned, um, each planet is free to create their own UIs to plug into their planet. And in fact, we expect that to happen over time. So who knows what a planet will decide to build out.
True, true. Let me see. We have another question. If someone buys, this is the Trillium question. If someone buys all the Trillium up, what happens for the circulation? Can you guys increase the Trillium, or is it locked?
Supply, we can't increase the supply. The supply is 5 billion base, and then there's 5 billion that's in the locked box that gets released very, very slowly, and that half of that gets burned, 50 to 60% gets burned. I mean, if someone buys up all the Trillium, they would have put in a huge amount of stake, you know, and they would have a large economic interest in the game. So we would have to, I mean, this is the case on any chain, isn't it? That if somebody buys up all the tokens, they have a lot of the power, and this is something that's constantly being weighed up. I mean, you can see that you can see that either as a threat or as a benefit, in the sense that that would have delivered, you know, a certain amount of security and a certain amount of capital and liquidity into the system. So, I mean, it's a pretty remote possibility, but I don't know if anyone else wants to comment on that. We definitely are not going to be increasing supply. That's not something.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really, really hard for anyone to buy up a supersized share on it because of the whole distribution method and how it's all getting originally allocated and invested. It's if people buy up the I mean, it's very predictable. Very predictable about how the supply is going out and how certain things are being burnt. So, if somebody just buys up all the stuff, I suppose there's going to be less supply out there for people. Direct liquid supply out there. That's all.
Okay, okay.
One thing I guess to mention is that what's going out in the locked box every day, that's 0.025% per day, which in the first year is about 440 million Trillium. That's going to gamers. That's going directly to people who are mining and staking and so on. So there wouldn't be the opportunity for some mega whale to kind of come in and buy that. They would have to go in and convince all of those people who had earned Trillium through gaming actions to sell it to them. So, I mean, there's always that mechanism of getting Trillium directly into the hands of users.
Cool, cool. All right. Hope that answers that question. No more Trillium is happening.
Nope.
No. It's. I mean, we're actually saying that fixed amount. It's really like just saying that we've got a bit of inflation, but we've got a total cap on. We've got completely decreasing inflation. So every year, the amount of supply coming in is less and less. And it's very analogous to Bitcoin, and effectively there's like a half-life of 7 years on it that is on there. But instead of it being a halving event, it's continuous every day.
Cool, cool.
I saw that there was a technical question which might be good for Michael, which was, will ETH, EOS, Wax be separate instances?
That is a good one, yes.
So no, they won't be separate instances. The game will only actually run on the Wax blockchain. And then ETH will do the things that ETH is good at, which is holding the token. And we might even start to do some kind of NFT things on ETH. I'm starting to think about that. But the gameplay will be all on Wax because that's where we get the fast and the free transactions, and we have the Wax Cloud wallet. So no, they're not separate. You move things between them. You don't play on both simultaneously.
And then maybe just to mention, there's no EOS angle here. It's just ETH and Wax.
Yeah, it's not EOS.
Cool. How was that decision kind of easy to make to support both, or support ETH really?
Yeah, I mean it was a no-brainer when we made the decision. Everybody was for it because we see the value that both chains add. and to kind of build a bridge between the two isn't so difficult. So yeah, it was a no-brainer to use each thing for its own benefits is what we want to do. We want to optimize as much as possible.
I think we find that an awful lot of ETH projects are now looking at different layer 2 solutions for some of the challenges they're facing. And we sort of went into it straight away with, right, well, we reckon we can use Wax perfectly on there and tie it in with ETH and have that working together nicely.
Yeah, and it really builds into the game dynamics as well, whereby it's very easy to start, but then once you start, you'll find that there's other different layers as well. So somebody can start playing, they don't need Ethereum or an ETH account or anything like that, or a wallet. But then later on, if they decide that they get into crypto, or if a more advanced player comes along, then they can utilize it to its fullest extent without having to worry about anything.
See, and can you tell us anything about the other games, like the fighting game? I know things are still getting built out or whatnot, but any little thing while we wait for this wheel to get loaded, that'd be cool.
Yeah, certainly I can talk a little on that. Right, so obviously there's we've got these minions and they've all got stats associated around attack and defense and a movement rating, which may equate back to like a mana thing on people familiar with Magic or Hearthstone. And so all of them have got these attributes. The weapons have also got different ratings as well, and they've all got elements. So we've got different elements or kind of sets that they fall within, which is gem, fire, metal, and there's a few others. And then based upon all of that type of dynamic, there's going to be a basic sort of team battling going on between them. In one design that's coming forward, and in another one they basically go together as a sort of rumble type setup. And what they also do is that whenever you do that, you're also fighting on behalf of your planet that you choose. So if there's a particular planet that you choose, then that planet gets a little bit more power to get better rewards the more that you fight for it as well. So there's kind of this group dynamic there to try and boost your planet's power as well. So in general, it's kind of a bit like classic battling based upon the particular stats and random elements, and different things like metal beating nature and the likes. And on another side, it's trying to work together in a planetary sense to try and improve the rewards everyone gets.
Okay.
I think that's a great way of putting it, in the sense that all of these games are both kind of games where people can earn and test out their strategy and develop a better strategy, but they're also plugged into our essential tokenomics. So they have to work from a tokenomic perspective, and we've given a lot of thought to that in each case. So, for example, with the mining game, you have to pay a fee to enter, and then you get a chance to win more if you end up winning the battle. And we're going to be burning part of that fee as part of our deflationary policy. And then additionally, coming on later in the roadmap, when your NFT gets damaged through fighting, we have other parts of the metaverse, like, for example, the landowners and the services that can offer like a repair or a hospital service into that. So different elements of the metaverse work together to ensure that the tokenomics are always flowing and always make sense from a demand-supply perspective.
And one of the big things, guys, is kind of like this overarching storyline, which we'll run through as well, which we're calling the Nebular Events or Nebular Quests. And these things are basically going to have either sets of prizes, and they'll effectively be a set of things that people have to go and do, and a set of particular tasks and puzzles to solve that will that will then lead them towards entries for or chances to win some of really unique or good stuff within the metaverse. So all of those will hopefully start to bring quite a big burn dynamic because people will have to make certain sacrifices in order to move forward.
Okay. So definitely having some of these NFTs and items can go a long way if they're can be used in all these games.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So
Um,
one thing we did with, I mean, just to well, there's so one thing you find is that there's an awful lot of little green people around, male little green ones especially, and and they have a very particular role in the future as well. That they're planned for one of the first events that you're going to have to get a whole little army of them together to complete a quest.
okay. Awesome. I love to see that when I can use one single NFT to do multiple things. It kind of really adds to the value of it all, especially connecting them all like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's the risk otherwise, isn't it, with anything that it just gets created and then it loses its appeal over time, whereas if there's a continuous reason why people are using them, then, hopefully we can sustain the metaverse for the long term.
Yeah, and I think the storyline thing is quite powerful on that. That through that we can always bring up new kind of quests that people do and reasons for people to actually hold stuff and interact with it when they may no longer see its value. And so trying to get this interaction between the different elements is a big theme of what we're trying to do.
Okay. We almost have our wheel set up. If you submitted an address, we are about to spin this wheel. Seems like we had a little duplicate, or some people submitting addresses that were invalid. So let's let Morty and the crypto lawyer work it out right quick, so we can see who's gonna win this land pack. Because everyone, the first 20 valid addresses are going to receive a promo pack, and then one lucky person is going to receive a land pack, right?
Yeah, which is pretty valuable.
Cool.
To give you a sense, right now, a land pack is being auctioned for. Do you guys know what period we're in?
We are in period. No, I don't know. Period 6.
So currently a land pack, if you were going to buy it in the live auction, which we hope that you will, is priced at 0.6442 ETH. And we've had people buying at this level and all of the levels above. So pretty valuable. These things, I guess, are being perceived as having legs for the long term, and being 3,000 of them right now, it's a chance to get land. And by the way, if you want to see all of that I was just talking about, what the prices and how this is working, it's right here. Just putting that into the chat. Unbox.alienworlds.io. You can navigate through to either to buying in wax or to buying in ETH.
Cool. So I've actually left the stream because I assumed we were too full. So I wanted okay, I'm back in. I wanted everyone to get a chance to view.
Well, thanks.
And just let me know when you're ready to do the spinny thing.
Yep, I think we've got 20 now. We're ready to spin. Let's go.
Do it.
YF1.
Wow. YF1Q Wham.
Congratulations to the winner. Let's see who is it. Who is YF1QW? Lance, congratulations. Nice. He asked the most
Oh,
questions,
yay!
most
Really
in
good
depth
questions.
questions. Yes, yes. Congratulations, Lange.
This can be the beginning of your empire.
For sure. And trust me, he will create one. Beast
Oh,
at all
great.
games. He is a beast at all games.
Wonderful.
I'm glad he's my friend and he's going to let me use it.
Don't let them charge you too much.
Cool, cool, cool. That's very exciting. I'm sure they'll get it sent over to you right away. Let me post the Discord link again, or if someone can post it, that'd be cool.
Yeah, we'd really love it if you guys would join our Discord. We just historically have used Telegram a little bit more, so our Telegram channel is super active with people talking all the time. Discord is a little less active, but we do check in with it, and we'd love for that to.
Yeah,
We'd love
definitely.
to get
So
that.
we're not active.
Discord is the home of NFTs, so
I know.
make it happen.
Yeah, totally. And we actually really like it. It's just that a lot of our community are on Telegram. So yeah.
Yep. It's a little hard to kind of manage the split, but yeah, if some of our members could join the Discord and kind of help out and get active, that'd be great. Lange is on his way over there since he's now a proud landowner.
Cool.
Excellent. All right, we're a little bit past the hour mark. You guys have a last announcement or something else that you touch on that we haven't? Please feel free.
I think it's really just.
Have we got into the little incentive to get in early?
No, we didn't. Good point.
Oh right, yeah. So what we've got is we've got a nice tie-in with another NFT project, which I'm not sure if people have come across. It's called Cogs. It's
Yes.
quite a nice little one. We've taken one of their characters, the astronaut, and he's found his way into our metaverse, and he's taken on the form of a minion that's in 50 limited copies. So these are epics which are just limited to 50, and we've also got our legendary storm giants, they've come in now from the X dimension, so they're a slightly more powerful version of our legendary minion, which is the storm giant, and so we've got 10 of those as well, and we've also got a mythical avatar, which is the Aelshi character, which is our main supreme intelligence and ancient alien intelligence. We've got a one-of-one unique mythical avatar, which someone can win, and all of those 61 avatars and minions are going to be put into a draw at the end of the sale for all the people who've bought packs, and the earlier you buy packs, the more tickets you get. So, and it's quite extreme. So if you buy really early, you get a lot of tickets. And if you don't, then you don't get many. So it's a real incentive. That these some of the nicest things, or some of the most special things which will ever be created with Alien Worlds, and this sale, the earlier people get in, the bigger chance they've got to get them. So hopefully,
Promote, I think, is just navigating to that post, because it might be worth just showing people the different numbers of tickets that you get at the different periods. Because I guess we're in period 6 now.
Yeah, I think it's this one.
Yeah.
So you'd be getting 140 tickets.
Cool.
Yeah. So for the next few hours, there's 140 tickets there, and that's a lot of tickets. So that's going to give you, compared to if it goes on as long as period 30, you're only going to get 13. So it's 10 times as many tickets for much less percentage buy.
Awesome.
So this is some stuff that will be just super rare and super exclusive and bragging rights in the Alien Worlds game forever.
Be the talk of the galaxy.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, y'all. So with that, I think we can check you guys out in the Telegram and Discord. Discord. If someone has any questions or wants to a little bit more explanation on how things work, I'm sure
Yeah.
they can hit you guys up there and kind of get it all figured out. I appreciate taking the time to come over and show us this, especially during the land sale. So if you like what you saw, definitely jump up in the website and check the airdrop list again. Make sure that your address is on there and claim. I just did, and yeah, it's been fun.
It has.
Well,
Thanks so much. It's such a
it's
great format. Really, really appreciate it.
Anytime. Let us know when you have some more gameplay coming out. We'd love to share it again. Introducing the community to good, solid projects is our main thing.
Wonderful. Thanks. And we're really enjoying seeing some of your other live streams and some of the art and the things that you guys are interested in. So yeah, we're looking forward to
Yeah.
collaborating more. Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank
you
you.
guys. Have a
Thank
great
you, guys.
time, great
good
evening,
stuff.
day.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Yes. Thank
Thanks,
you to the
guys.
rest of the team. We'll see you soon. Have a good one.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Alegria.
guys.
Bye.
Peace
Bye.
out.